Welcome back to another segment of CommuniTips brought to you by NotaryStars.com. My name is Beth Hathoot, and I'm here with a member of our notary community with another great tip for everybody. His name is Mike Howard. Mike, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself and then just jump right in and tell us what your organizational tip is.
Sure. Well, as Beth said, my name is Mike Howard, and I am a notary signing agent in the Chandler area, and I've been a notary since 2016. And I'm always looking for ways to make things more efficient, more effective, and do it on a tight budget. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to share with you what I do whenever I have a signing. It's something I do consistently, and it has really helped my overall process. First off, when I get the package, I'm sure like you, I print out my documents. I have one for the signer and one to actually leave behind. These are redacted, so I don't have to worry about privacy. I always feel like I need to share that. So the first thing I do as I go through the document is to make sure that what we're actually signing is what we're supposed to be. I don't know about you, but I hate sitting down for a refi and finding a reverse mortgage sitting in front of me. So after I've gone through the documents, I'm checking for names to make sure they're spelled correctly and consistently throughout the packages, because sometimes they aren't, and then that warrants a call to other parties that are above my pay grade. Once I come to a document that I know the names are consistent, what I'll do is I'll get a simple Post-it note. Very simple. I like different colors. And on the Post-it note, I will put the name as it's printed on the document. I will put how they are to initial, if they have to initial anything, and I'll put the date. After I get that completed, what I will do is I will put that on the back of the packet that the signers will be signing, and I put the copy that I will be leaving behind. So I have one simple pack in my files. I'll pull it out, and when I sit down for the meeting, usually there will be a comment about, oh, it's so much paperwork, and I'll tell them, well, that I have good news, and I have better news. The good news is you're only signing half. And the better news is this is the one that I'm leaving with you, and I'll put that off to the side. Then when I'm sitting down with my signers, I will pull out this Post-it note and say, you know what, I don't know about you, but I'm sure you've experienced that people in lenders and escrow officers, they can be very picky. And so what I have in front of you is this is how your name is printed on the document. In the unlikely event that you have to initial anything, this is how you initial. And just because the day seems very long, this is what the date is that you're going to put on the document. And I will then inform them it's very important that we are consistent and tell them this is how the lenders are expecting your name to be printed or signed on the document. Ultimately, it's up to you. And then I will put that Post-it note right in front of them. Usually there might be a comment, oh, I know the date. And I'll say, you know what, that's great, but just in case you need it, it's right there should you need it. I will then start the process. And as we're going through the document, inevitably, I will notice that the people will be looking at the Post-it note and they'll be double checking. So the Post-it note can really be their guide as they're going through the document. So I'm not sitting here reminding them, don't forget to put that middle initial. Don't forget today's August 19th. It really does help streamline the whole process. Once we get done with the signing, I'll usually tell them, maybe it's because I was a teacher, I'm a bit of a control freak and I really don't like mistakes. So I'll tell them, if I can just have just a few minutes just to double check to make sure everything's right, I will get out of their hair. And they usually are very grateful that somebody's taking a few minutes to make sure something's done correctly. Sometimes I'll find a mistake, and then if I do, I just pull it out of their copy, then we will make the correction, and then I'll usually tell them, sometimes they will make a big deal. Oh, I'm so sorry I made a mistake. And I'll just tell them, you know what? As I used to tell my students, as long as we correct it before we turn it in, it's not a mistake. And they laugh. And generally, I have a good experience. And this process has really streamlined my signings and it has made it more approachable. And the great thing is, Post-it notes are cheap. So we all have plenty of them and it's worked well for me.
That is fantastic, Mike. It's not only effective, efficient, it's also cost effective. So very good. And I kind of like the way you presented it. It kind of gives new notaries some of the feel for the flow, particularly when you first sit down at the table. And I think the Post-it note with their name printed on it and the date is almost genius because we get into that repetitive, name and date, name and this date, name and 08/09/2022, whatever that is. And pretty soon they look at you and they say, I got it.
Yep.
And three signatures later, they don't
They
got
don't get it.
it. So, and they can always just look without having to have the teacher going, hey, the date, that's perfect. Thank you so much for that.
The nice thing about the Post-it note I've also experienced is this has caught spelling errors on their behalf, because I will print it out as it's on the document. And one time I had a guy named Steven and it was spelled PH on the document, but it was with a V. So this enabled us to stop right away, let the escrow officer know, and they were able to redraw the documents that day, and we were able to complete the signing. Otherwise, we might have missed it, and who knows what would have happened. What's funny is I started with a small dry erase board, carry dry erase markers, but the problem is people erased it and went to a Post-it note, and I haven't looked back.
It's perfect. It's genius. Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate that tip. I think it's simple yet effective, and it doesn't cost a lot of money.
No,
Awesome job, Mr. Mike. Thank you so much. Maybe we'll have you back again.
that would be great. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Bye, everybody. We'll see you again.